I'm standing in Marcus Reed's corner office, hands trembling slightly as I clutch the folder he just handed me. The city skyline glitters behind him through floor-to-ceiling windows, but I barely notice. My heart pounds so loud I'm sure he can hear it. "This stays between us, Maya," Marcus says, his voice smooth as expensive whiskey. He leans back in his leather chair, fingers steepled like he's some kind of kingpin. "The board doesn't need to know every little detail about how we operate." I swallow hard, flipping through the pages. Numbers jump out at me. Wire transfers, offshore accounts, a shell company called Meridian Holdings that I've never heard of. My stomach twists into knots. I've been TechVault's senior financial analyst for 6 years, and something about this feels very wrong. "But, sir, these transactions," I start. He cuts me off with a wave of his hand. "Are perfectly legal, just complicated. The board would ask too many questions and slow everything down. Trust me, Maya. This is how business gets done at the top." I nod slowly, though my brain is screaming. Trust him? Every instinct tells me not to. I drive home in silence that evening, my mind racing through what I saw. The folder sits in my messenger bag like it's radioactive. I keep replaying Marcus's words. This is how business gets done at the top. My apartment feels too quiet when I walk in. I drop my keys on the counter and pull out my laptop, opening the company directory. I need to understand what I'm looking at before I do anything stupid. TechVault manufactures security software for banks and government agencies. We're trusted, respected. Marcus built this company from nothing 15 years ago, and everyone treats him like some kind of genius. I used to admire him too. I search Meridian Holdings online but find almost nothing, just a registration address in the Cayman Islands. My chest tightens. Why would Marcus need an offshore shell company? And why involve me? Then it hits me. He needs someone to process the payments. Someone junior enough to follow orders but senior enough to have system access. Someone expendable. I close my laptop, feeling sick. I think Marcus just made me his accomplice. The next morning, I arrive at work early, hoping to avoid Marcus. The office is quiet, just a few dedicated souls hunched over keyboards in their cubicles. I make myself coffee in the break room, my hands still shaky. My phone buzzes. A text from Marcus. "Need those Meridian transfers processed by noon. Conference room at 11 to review." I stare at the message, feeling trapped. If I process these transfers, I'm part of whatever scheme he's running. If I refuse, I might lose my job. Or worse. Marcus has connections everywhere. He could blacklist me from the entire industry. I think about my mom back in Michigan, how proud she was when I landed this job, how I send her money every month to help with bills. I think about my student loans, my rent, my car payment. At my desk, I pull up the transfer system. The amounts are staggering. $2.3 million moving through multiple accounts in a dizzying pattern. It's designed to be confusing, to hide the trail. I screenshot everything and email it to my personal account, just in case. The conference room at 11 feels like a trap. Marcus sits at the head of the table, his assistant Derek hovering nearby. Derek's always given me creepy vibes, too eager to please, too quick to laugh at Marcus's jokes. "Maya, sit," Marcus says, gesturing to a chair. "Did you process the transfers?" I nod, my mouth dry. "Yes, sir. But I have some questions about—" "Good," he interrupts. "That's what I like about you. You follow instructions." He slides another folder across the table. "Next week? Same thing. Different amounts? Same process." I open the folder. This time it's $3.8 million. My vision blurs slightly. Derek smirks from the corner. "Problem, Maya?" "No," I lie. "No problem." Marcus stands, buttoning his suit jacket. "Excellent. Remember, this is confidential. If the board asks questions, you know nothing. These are just routine vendor payments as far as anyone's concerned." After they leave, I sit alone in the conference room, staring at the folder. Routine vendor payments. Right, vendors in the Cayman Islands who don't exist. I spend the next few days feeling like I'm walking on thin ice. Every email makes me jump. Every time someone approaches my desk, I expect security to escort me out. But nothing happens. The office runs normally. People gossip about the upcoming company picnic. Someone brings donuts on Friday. Only I know the truth festering beneath the surface. I start digging quietly during lunch breaks. I access old financial records looking for patterns. Turns out, Meridian Holdings appeared 6 months ago, right after Marcus returned from a business trip to Singapore. Since then, over $12 million has flowed through that shell company. Here's what doesn't make sense. None of that money shows up in TechVault's books. It's like it vanishes into thin air. Where's it going? And more importantly, where's it coming from? I find my answer buried in a procurement report. TechVault recently signed a massive government contract worth $50 million. The money flowing through Meridian matches the timeline of that contract perfectly. My blood runs cold. Marcus is skimming from a government contract. That's not just unethical, it's illegal. Like, go to prison illegal. That weekend I can barely sleep. I keep thinking about what I should do. Part of me wants to pretend I never saw anything, keep my head down, collect my paycheck. But another part, the part that sounds like my mom's voice, tells me that's wrong. Sunday afternoon, I meet my best friend Keisha for coffee. She works in HR at a different company and always gives solid advice. We grab a corner table at our favorite cafe and I spill everything. Keisha's eyes get wider with every detail. "Girl, you need to report this," she says, stirring her latte. "Like, yesterday." "But what if I'm wrong?" I whisper. "What if there's some explanation I'm missing?" She leans forward. "Maya, you're a financial analyst. You know shady when you see it. This is shady. And if you stay quiet, you're part of it." I know she's right, but knowing and doing are two different things. "What if he destroys my career?" I ask quietly. Keisha reaches across and squeezes my hand. "What if you destroy his?" Monday morning, I walk into TechVault with a plan. I'm going to gather every piece of evidence I can find, document everything, and then take it to the board of directors. But I need to be careful. Marcus can't know what I'm doing. I spend the day acting normal, processing routine reports, chatting with coworkers about meaningless stuff. But every spare moment, I'm copying files, saving emails, building my case. By Wednesday, I have a folder on my personal laptop that's basically a roadmap of Marcus's scheme. Wire transfers, email exchanges with Derek, cryptic notes about special arrangements, and the government contract documents that prove where the money's coming from. I also find something else, an email from Marcus to someone named Jay Patterson discussing our arrangement and keeping the board in the dark. My hands shake as I read it. This is bigger than I thought. That afternoon, Marcus calls me into his office again. My heart nearly stops. "Maya, you've been doing great work," he says, smiling. "I'm putting you up for a promotion." I freeze. A promotion, right when I'm about to expose him. The promotion offer feels like a bribe, even though Marcus doesn't say it outright. He's dangling a carrot. More money, a better title, my own office. All I have to do is keep being his loyal little accomplice. "Thank you, sir," I managed to say. "That's unexpected." "You've earned it," Marcus says smoothly. "Loyalty matters in this company, Maya. I take care of people who take care of me. The message is clear. Stay quiet and you'll be rewarded. Speak up and you'll be crushed." I leave his office feeling nauseous. The promotion would mean $20,000 more a year. That's life-changing money for me. I could pay off my car, help my mom more, actually save for the future. But it's blood money, money built on fraud and lies. That evening, I open my laptop and start writing an email to the board of directors. My fingers hover over the keyboard. This is it. Once I send this, there's no going back. Marcus will know I betrayed him. He'll come after me with everything he has. I think about Keisha's words. What if you destroy his? I start typing. The email takes me 3 hours to write. I attach every document, every screenshot, every piece of evidence I've collected. I lay it all out clearly. The shell company, the wire transfers, the government contract, the missing millions. I explain my role, admitting that Marcus pressured me to process the transfers. I end with, I believe Marcus Reed is defrauding TechVault and potentially violating federal law. The board deserves to know the truth. My cursor hovers over the send button. My heart pounds so hard it hurts. This email will change everything. My career, my life, maybe even Marcus's freedom. I think about my mom, about the right thing to do, about being able to look at myself in the mirror. I click send. The whoosh sound feels like jumping off a cliff. There's no taking it back now. The email is out there, racing through cyberspace to the board members' inboxes. By tomorrow morning, everything will explode. I close my laptop and sit in the dark, wondering if I just made the biggest mistake of my life or the bravest decision. I barely sleep that night. Every sound makes me jump. I keep checking my email, half expecting angry messages from Marcus or the board. But there's nothing, just silence. The next morning, I dress carefully for work, professional but not too flashy. I need to look confident, even though I'm terrified. As I drive to the office, my phone rings. Unknown number. Hello? Is this Maya Chen? A woman's voice, formal and crisp. Yes, who's this? Sandra Martinez from the board of directors. We received your email. We need you to come to an emergency meeting at 9 a.m. Don't discuss this with anyone, especially Marcus Reed. My throat goes dry. Okay, I'll be there. She hangs up without another word. I sit in my car outside TechVault for 10 minutes, trying to calm my breathing. This is really happening. The board is taking me seriously, but that means Marcus is about to find out I betrayed him. I walk into the building on shaky legs, praying I'm doing the right thing. The boardroom is on the executive floor, a place I've never been before. It's all dark wood and leather chairs, with abstract art on the walls. 5 board members sit around the table, their faces serious. Sandra Martinez, a woman in her 50s with sharp eyes, gestures for me to sit. Thank you for coming, Maya, she says. We've reviewed your email and the attached documents. These are serious allegations. I nod, my voice coming out smaller than I'd like. I know, but everything I sent is true. I have more evidence if you need it. Another board member, an older man named Robert Chen, leans forward. Why did you wait so long to report this? Shame burns my cheeks. Marcus told me it was confidential. He made it seem normal, like this was just how business worked. It took me a while to realize what was really happening. Sandra's expression softens slightly. You did the right thing by coming forward. Now we need to investigate this thoroughly. Can we count on your cooperation? Yes, absolutely. Good. We're suspending Marcus effective immediately pending investigation. Don't return to your desk. We'll have security pack your things. You're on paid administrative leave until this is resolved. My stomach drops. Am I being fired? No, Sandra says firmly. We're protecting you. And gathering evidence. They escort me out through a side entrance, like I'm a criminal. I don't see Marcus, which is both a relief and terrifying. He doesn't know yet that his world is about to collapse. I drive home in a daze. Paid administrative leave sounds nice, but it feels like purgatory. I'm stuck in limbo while the board investigates. What if they don't find enough evidence? What if Marcus convinces them I'm lying? He's charismatic and powerful. I'm nobody. My phone explodes with texts from coworkers. Apparently, security marched into Marcus's office an hour after I left and escorted him out. The rumor mill is going crazy. People are texting me. What happened? Are you okay? Did you see Marcus get fired? I don't respond to anyone. Sandra told me to keep quiet. By evening, the story hits the news. TechVault CEO suspended amid fraud investigation. My phone rings constantly. Reporters, somehow, have my number. I don't answer. Then I get a text from an unknown number. You just destroyed yourself. Hope it was worth it. My blood turns to ice. Marcus. The next few days are torture. I stay in my apartment, ignoring phone calls and refreshing news sites obsessively. The investigation is all anyone can talk about. Financial experts are analyzing TechVault's books. Former employees are coming forward with their own stories about Marcus's questionable behavior. But the scariest part? Marcus has hired a top criminal defense lawyer. The news shows him walking into meetings, looking calm and confident, like this is just a minor inconvenience. His lawyer releases a statement calling the allegations baseless and suggesting I'm a disgruntled employee seeking attention. That stings. I'm not seeking attention. I never wanted any of this. Keisha comes over with wine and takeout. Don't read the comments, she warns, but I do anyway. Half the internet thinks I'm a hero. The other half thinks I'm a liar and a traitor. One comment guts me. She probably just wanted his job. I didn't want his job, I say quietly, staring at my phone. I just wanted to do the right thing. Keisha takes my phone away. The truth will come out, Maya. You have the evidence. I hope she's right. A week into the investigation, Sandra Martinez calls. We need you to testify. The board is bringing in federal investigators. This involves government contracts, so it's beyond our scope now. Federal investigators. My hands start shaking again. What does that mean for me? It means you'll need to tell your story under oath. But Maya, the evidence you provided is solid. The investigators are finding even more irregularities. Marcus created an entire network of shell companies. You exposed the tip of the iceberg. After we hang up, I sit on my couch, processing this. Marcus didn't just steal a few million. He built an empire of fraud, and I'm the one who knocked over the first domino. 2 days later, FBI agents show up at my door. They're polite but intimidating in their dark suits and serious expressions. They ask me hundreds of questions, recording everything. I tell them about every conversation with Marcus, every transfer I processed, every red flag I ignored because I was scared. You did the right thing by coming forward, one agent tells me. People like Reed count on silence. That night, I finally sleep soundly. The federal investigation moves fast. Within 3 weeks, they've traced over $18 million in fraudulent transactions. Marcus wasn't just skimming from one government contract. He had deals with multiple agencies, all funneling money through shell companies. The news explodes. TechVault's stock plummets. Clients start jumping ship. Employees panic about their jobs. And somehow, I become the face of it all. A reporter from a major newspaper tracks me down at a coffee shop. Maya Chen? I'm writing a story about corporate whistleblowers. Can I ask you a few questions? I should say no, but something makes me agree. Maybe I'm tired of hiding. We sit down and I tell my story, carefully, without revealing details the FBI told me to keep confidential. I talk about the pressure Marcus put on me, the fear of losing my job, the moment I decided to send that email. Why did you do it? The reporter asks. You knew it would cost you everything. I think about that. Because staying silent would have cost me more. I would have lost myself. The article runs 3 days later with the headline, The Analyst Who Took Down a CEO. Marcus's trial becomes a media circus. Cameras swarm the courthouse. His lawyer attacks my credibility, calling me naive and confused. He suggests I misunderstood normal business practices. But when I take the stand, I'm ready. I walk through every document, every transfer, every lie Marcus told me. I speak clearly and calmly, even when his lawyer tries to rattle me. Ms. Chen, isn't it true you were offered a promotion shortly before you sent that email? He asks, his tone accusatory. Yes, I say, and you were angry you didn't get it sooner, weren't you? No, I reply firmly. I was offered the promotion because Marcus wanted to keep me quiet. It was a bribe. The courtroom murmurs. The lawyer's face tightens. The prosecution presents the evidence I gathered, plus mountains more the FBI uncovered. Bank statements, email chains with co-conspirators, testimony from other employees who were pressured to stay silent. When Marcus takes the stand, he's calm and charming, denying everything. But the evidence is overwhelming. The jury sees through him. After 3 weeks, they reach a verdict, guilty on 12 counts of fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. The day of Marcus's sentencing, I sit in the back of the courtroom. He gets 15 years in federal prison and is ordered to pay back $18 million plus penalties. His face, usually so confident, crumbles as the judge reads the sentence. As they lead him away in handcuffs, he looks back at the courtroom. For just a second, his eyes meet mine. There's no smirk now, just defeat. I don't feel triumphant, I just feel tired. Outside, reporters swarm me. How do you feel about the verdict? Do you think justice was served? What's next for you? I keep walking to my car, Keisha running interference. But before I drive away, I turn back to the cameras. I hope this shows people that speaking up matters, I say quietly, even when it's scary. Especially when it's scary. That night, my phone rings. It's Sandra Martinez from the board. Maya, we'd like to offer you a position, Director of Financial Compliance. We need someone with integrity to rebuild trust in this company. I almost laugh. They want me back? After everything? But then I think about it. I could help fix what Marcus broke. I could make sure this never happens again. I'll think about it, I say. A month later, I walk back into TechVault's offices. The atmosphere is different now, quieter, more cautious. People look at me differently too. Some with respect, some with nervousness, like I'm a bomb that might explode. My new office is on the executive floor. Ironic, considering I used to be terrified to even visit up here. Sandra gives me a tour, introducing me to the new CEO, a no-nonsense woman named Dr. Patricia Wong, who's been brought in to clean house. We need transparency, Patricia tells me in our first meeting. Your job is to make sure every dollar is accounted for. If you see something wrong, you report it directly to me or the board. No exceptions. I nod, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on my shoulders. Over the next few weeks, I implement new protocols. Every transaction over $50,000 requires dual approval. All offshore accounts are reviewed quarterly by external auditors. We create an anonymous hotline for employees to report concerns. Some people resist. This is too much oversight, they complain. You're making it impossible to do business. But I don't budge. This is how we rebuild trust, I say firmly. Slowly, things start to change. Clients return, stock prices stabilize, employees feel safer. 6 months after Marcus's sentencing, I'm invited to speak at a business ethics conference. The auditorium is packed with executives, analysts, students, people who want to hear about my experience. I stand at the podium, looking out at hundreds of faces, and for a moment, I'm that scared analyst again, clutching a folder in Marcus's office. But then I start talking. I tell them about the pressure to stay silent, the fear of losing everything. The moment I decided to send that email, I talk about the investigation, the trial, the aftermath. People ask me if I regret it, I say, my voice carrying through the room. If I would do it differently. And honestly, some days, yes. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. I lost sleep, lost friends, lost my sense of security. The room is completely silent. But I would do it again, I continue. Because staying silent would have destroyed me from the inside, and because someone had to stop him. When I finish, the applause is deafening. Afterward, dozens of people approach me, some sharing their own stories of workplace fraud, others thanking me for being brave. One young woman, probably fresh out of college, grips my hand tightly. I'm dealing with something similar at my job. I didn't know what to do, but now I do. That moment makes everything worth it. A year after the trial, I receive a letter forwarded from TechVault. The return address is a federal prison. My stomach drops when I see the name, Marcus Reed. I debate throwing it away unopened, but curiosity wins. The letter is handwritten, his normally confident script shaky and uneven. Maya, I've had a lot of time to think in here, about my choices, about how I treated people. About you. I was angry at first, blamed you for ruining my life. But the truth is, I ruined it myself. You just held up a mirror. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it, but I want you to know that what you did took courage I never had. You stood up when it mattered. I hope you're doing well. Marcus. I read it 3 times, trying to figure out if it's genuine or manipulative. With Marcus, it's always hard to tell, but ultimately, it doesn't matter. His opinion of me isn't what drove me to expose him. I fold the letter and put it in a drawer. Then I go back to work, reviewing financial reports and making sure TechVault stays on the right path. 2 years after sending that explosive email, my life has settled into a new normal. I've been promoted again. Now I'm Vice President of Compliance and Ethics, reporting directly to Patricia Wong. My salary is triple what I made as a senior analyst. But the money isn't what matters most. What matters is walking into work every day knowing I did the right thing. It's mentoring young employees who come to me with concerns, assuring them their voices matter. It's implementing systems that make fraud harder to hide. TechVault has rebuilt its reputation. We're winning back government contracts, the right way this time. Our transparency is now a selling point. The company that cleaned house becomes part of our brand. Keisha tells me I should write a book. Your story could help people, she says over our weekly coffee. Maybe someday. For now, I'm focused on preventing the next Marcus Reed. I still get occasional hate mail from people who think I destroyed a great man's legacy, but I also get thank you notes from employees who feel safer speaking up, from other whistleblowers who found courage in my story. Those notes keep me going. The 3rd anniversary of Marcus's conviction falls on a Tuesday. I don't make a big deal of it, but I do take a moment that evening to reflect. 3 years ago, I was terrified, just a mid-level analyst who stumbled onto something bigger than herself. I thought sending that email would ruin my career, maybe my life. Instead, it defined me. I'm not the same person I was in Marcus's office, hands shaking as he told me to stay quiet. I'm stronger now, more confident. I've learned that doing the right thing doesn't always feel good in the moment, but it lets you sleep at night. My phone buzzes. It's an email from the FBI agent who led the investigation. He's retiring and wanted to thank me one more time. Your courage made a difference, he writes. Not just in this case, but in showing others that whistleblowers can win. I smile, feeling warmth spread through my chest. Maybe that's the real victory. Not destroying Marcus, but inspiring others to speak up. That night, I treat myself to dinner at my favorite restaurant. As I sit alone with my wine, I raise a quiet toast to that scared version of myself who found courage when it mattered most. These days, I speak regularly at conferences and universities. I've become an accidental advocate for corporate transparency and whistleblower protection. It's strange being in the spotlight when I used to prefer staying invisible, but if my story can help even one person find the courage to speak up, it's worth the discomfort. A law professor invites me to guest lecture at her business ethics class. The students are engaged, asking sharp questions about the legal process, the emotional toll, the aftermath. One student raises his hand. Do you think Marcus Reed was just a bad person, or did the system make him that way? I consider this carefully. I think he started out wanting to build something great, but somewhere along the way, he started believing rules didn't apply to him. Power corrupted him, and the system let it happen because people were too scared to challenge him. Another student asks, How did you overcome the fear? I didn't, I admit. I was terrified the whole time. But I did it anyway. That's what courage actually is. Not the absence of fear, but acting despite it. The class applauds, and I see recognition in some faces. They've been afraid too. We all have. 5 years after everything began, I'm sitting in Patricia Wong's office. She's asked me here for a special discussion, and I'm not sure what to expect. Maya, the board has been talking, she says, leaning back in her chair. We want to create a new position, Chief Ethics Officer. A C-suite role reporting directly to the board with authority to investigate any concerns without interference. My heart skips. And you want me for this position? You're the only person who could do it, Patricia says firmly. You've proven your integrity. You've built systems that work, and most importantly, you understand that protecting the company means protecting the truth. I take a deep breath. A C-suite position. 5 years ago, I was processing transfers for a criminal and thinking about quitting. Now I'm being offered a seat at the highest table. I accept, I say. Patricia smiles. Good. Because we need you. The business world needs people like you, people who won't compromise when it matters. That evening, I call my mom to share the news. She cries, telling me how proud she is. You were always brave, she says, even as a little girl. Maybe she's right. Maybe I just forgot for a while. Today, I walk through TechVault's offices with my head high. Employees greet me with genuine respect. New hires are told about the company's transformation, about the analyst who took down a corrupt CEO and then helped rebuild everything stronger. I think about Marcus sometimes, still serving his sentence in federal prison. I wonder if he's really changed, or if he's just counting days until release. Either way, he's not my problem anymore. My job now is to make sure the next Marcus Reed doesn't get the chance to hurt people. To create a culture where doing the right thing isn't just encouraged, it's expected. In my new corner office, I keep a framed copy of that original email I sent to the board. Not because I'm proud of destroying someone, but because it reminds me of what matters. Truth, integrity, courage. A young analyst knocks on my door, looking nervous. Miss Chen, I need to talk to you about something I saw in the quarterly reports. I'm probably wrong, but... I gesture for her to sit down, giving her my full attention. Tell me everything. And don't worry, you did the right thing by coming forward. As she explains her concerns, I realize this is my legacy. Not the trial or the headlines, but this. Creating a place where people feel safe speaking truth to power. Marcus tried to silence me. Instead, I found my voice. And now I'm making sure others find theirs too. The explosive email that ended his career became the foundation for something better. Sometimes, destroying the wrong thing is the only way to build something right. And I'd do it all again.